In the cemetery of Esperanza, there was a dog named Loki, known for his unusual behavior. Every day, he stayed by a specific grave, as if he were guarding something very important. He wouldn't even leave to play or eat. People passing by found his behavior strange and began talking about him. Why doesn't he move from that spot? Loki was always alert, barking fiercely at anyone who tried to approach. Loki's dedication soon became the talk of the town. Children visited the cemetery to see him, but even when they tried to pet him, he remained steadfast, guarding the grave with unwavering seriousness. It was as if he knew something others didn't, sparking respect and curiosity among everyone. One day, Elizabeth, a local woman, noticed Loki's peculiar behavior. Intrigued, she approached him, but he wouldn't let her get too close. Concerned, she decided to ask the cemetery caretaker, Jose, for help. She described what she had seen, and the two returned together to observe the dog. Jose also found Loki's behavior strange and decided to investigate further. When the police were called, the scene baffled them. Loki stood firm by the grave, protecting it with an almost supernatural intensity. The officers tried to approach, but the dog reacted fiercely, as if guarding a valuable secret. They decided to bring in an animal behavior specialist to calm Loki and figure out what was going on. The news spread quickly, and soon the townsfolk began gathering at the cemetery. What could Loki be protecting? Some speculated it was buried treasure, while others believed it was someone very important. Tension rose when the police obtained a court order to exhume the grave. When the coffin was opened, everyone was shocked. It was empty. Inside, there were only some old blankets. Where was the body? The family of the man buried there, Sebastian, explained that he had died in a devastating fire, and his body had been unrecognizable, which is why the coffin had remained closed during the funeral. However, this explanation only raised more questions. Officers discovered that Sebastian's phone had been used days after his supposed death, sparking further suspicion. Could he still be alive? As the investigation progressed, unsettling details emerged. Sebastian had been involved in something dangerous before the fire. His notes and journals, found in an abandoned house nearby, revealed that he had discovered his father, Alexander, was using the family farm for illegal activities. Sebastian had tried to confront his father, and the consequences of that confrontation seemed to have triggered the strange events. Meanwhile, Loki continued his vigil, guiding investigators with his unwavering loyalty. The story of Loki and Sebastian shook the town. The truth, though increasingly close, was dangerous and complex. Amelia, Sebastian's mother, played a crucial role in the case, confronting Alexander and supporting the search for answers. The discovery of the journals and Alexander's suspicious activities indicated that the mystery was far from solved. As investigations progressed, Loki became a symbol of perseverance and loyalty. His steadfast watch not only led to uncovering the truth, but also brought the town together around a mystery that defied all expectations. Was Sebastian really alive? What else was Alexander hiding? Loki, the little guardian, seemed to be the only one who knew the whole truth, and his mission was far from over. Silenced but determined to get to the bottom of the matter, the police decided to interrogate Alexander again, this time armed with the new evidence. Amelia, however, was devastated. Not even in her worst nightmares had she imagined something like this could happen to her family. Her mind was flooded with questions and anguish. How can this be happening? My Sebastian, where are you? She thought, her heart heavy with pain and uncertainty. In the months leading up to this moment, Amelia had already noticed strange changes in Alexander's behavior. He avoided talking about Sebastian, looked away whenever their son's name was mentioned, and became irritable whenever the subject came up. Why is he acting like this? What is he hiding? Amelia wondered, desperately trying to find a rational explanation for her husband's increasingly suspicious behavior. Now, with the new discoveries, the pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fit together. But the picture that emerged was grim. What else could Alexander be hiding? Could he have harmed his own son to protect his secrets? And most importantly, where was Sebastian? With each new step, the mystery deepened. and Amelia's determination to uncover the truth grew stronger. Guided by the hope that Sebastian was still out there, waiting to be found, Amelia clung to the idea that perhaps her son had run away with a girlfriend and that Alexander was trying to shield the family from shame or worry. But now, with the new revelations, she knew the truth was much darker. Could Alexander have hurt someone? Could he have done something terrible to keep his secret safe? These questions haunted Amelia day and night, stealing her sleep and her peace of mind. The revelation that Alexander was involved with drugs was a devastating blow. So that's where our money comes from, she thought, horrified. The image of Alexander, whom she had always seen as a protective husband and a loving father, crumbled before her eyes. He was no longer the man she trusted. He was now a stranger filled with dark secrets. Desperate, Amelia turned her gaze to Loki, the loyal dog who never left the empty grave. Loki, you knew from the start, didn't you? You knew something was wrong, she said, stroking the dog's fur. Loki wagged his tail gently, as if he understood her pain and anguish. His presence was a small comfort, a ray of strength amid the storm consuming her life. As she watched Loki, memories of Sebastian flooded her mind. She fondly recalled how her son had always been so happy with Loki by his side. Those moments warmed her heart and brought a glimmer of light to the darkness now enveloping her life. Sebastian and Loki shared something special, a bond that went beyond a simple relationship between a boy and his dog. In her mind, Amelia could see images of Sebastian and Loki running together in the park, laughing and playing as if the world belonged to them. Loki had always stood by Sebastian's side, and now, it seemed, he was doing the same for her. These thoughts gave her the strength to press on. There was something much bigger behind all this, and Amelia was determined not to rest until she uncovered the whole truth. Loki, you were always his best friend, and now you're here for me, she whispered to the loyal dog. Together, we will find Sebastian and bring justice. It was about to begin, and what they would find in the house could change everything. The mystery was nearing its resolution, but questions still lingered. Was Sebastian truly safe? And if so, how had he survived all this time? Hope guided every step, but the future remained an uncharted territory. Loki stayed close to Amelia, as if he understood that the mission to rescue Sebastian was finally underway. The children of the town, who had followed the story with eyes full of curiosity and admiration, now looked at Loki as a true hero, a dog who had never wavered in his role. The rescue operation was organized quickly, and within hours, the police were on their way to the house where Sebastian was hidden. Amelia, seated in the police car, prayed silently, searching for strength for what was to come. Please, God, let my son be okay, she pleaded, her heart heavy and her hands trembling with anxiety. The journey felt endless, but when they finally arrived at the location Alexander had indicated, everyone knew they had to proceed cautiously. Officers surrounded the house, weapons in hand, moving silently. The atmosphere inside was heavy and still, as though time had stopped. Suddenly, a sound broke the silence, bringing a flicker of hope, a voice, faint but unmistakable. I'm here, said Sebastian. Amelia's heart raced, and the officers, now on high alert, followed the voice to a locked room. Inside, they found Sebastian, visibly weakened but alive. The moment felt like a miracle. Upon seeing her son, Amelia's heart nearly stopped. She rushed to him and wrapped him in a strong embrace with every ounce of strength she had. My son, are you okay? She cried, tears of relief streaming down her face. It was as though the weight she had carried since Sebastian's disappearance had momentarily lifted. Sebastian, still dazed and weak, returned her embrace with what little strength he had. For the first time in months, he felt safe in his mother's arms. Loki, who had been by Amelia's side the entire time, couldn't contain his joy at seeing Sebastian. The loyal dog began jumping with excitement, barking and wagging his tail with such energy that it seemed he might burst with happiness. He ran to Sebastian, licking his face and letting out small whimpers of emotion. It was as if Loki had been waiting all this time to be reunited with his best friend. The scene was one of pure emotion and relief, despite the dark circumstances that had led them there. Amelia felt a joy she had thought impossible after so much suffering. "We're together again, my son," she whispered, still holding Sebastian tightly, as if she never wanted to let him go. The journey was not yet over, but the most important thing was clear. Sebastian's life had been saved. Sebastian, though weak, began to explain what had happened. He recounted how Alexander had discovered Sebastian's knowledge of his illegal activities. To protect his operation, Alexander had locked Sebastian away in the remote house, feeding him just enough to keep him alive but out of reach. Despite his condition, Sebastian had clung to hope, knowing that someone would eventually find him. The revelation shocked Amelia and the police. Alexander's betrayal was deeper than anyone could have imagined. With Sebastian's testimony, Alexander was arrested and faced charges for his crimes, including the illegal activities and the kidnapping of his own son. The community was left reeling, struggling to reconcile the image of Alexander they thought they knew with a man exposed by these events. Sebastian was taken to a hospital, where doctors treated his physical and emotional trauma. Though his body would heal with time, the psychological scars would take longer. Amelia stayed by his side through every step, her unwavering love giving him the strength to recover. Loki, ever loyal, remained at Sebastian's feet, refusing to leave him for even a moment. As the days turned into weeks, Sebastian began to regain his strength. He and Amelia moved to a new town, away from the painful memories and prying eyes of the community. Loki, their steadfast companion, accompanied them, becoming a symbol of their survival and resilience. In their new home, Sebastian and Amelia started a fresh chapter. Amelia found work at a local library, where she and Sebastian bonded over their shared love of books. Loki became a beloved member of the neighborhood, adored for his bravery and kindness. The pain of their ordeal didn't disappear, but it transformed into a deep appreciation for life and each other. Sebastian, inspired by his experiences, began volunteering at a shelter for abandoned animals, determined to give back in honor of Loki's loyalty. Years later, Sebastian stood before a small crowd, sharing his story at an event promoting animal rescue. Loki, now older but still spirited, sat by his side. As Sebastian recounted how Loki had saved his life, he looked down at his faithful friend and smiled. "Loki taught me the meaning of loyalty, courage, and love. Because of him, I'm here today." The audience erupted in applause, and Amelia, sitting in the front row, felt a deep sense of pride. They had come so far, and though the shadows of the past lingered, they no longer defined their lives. The story of Sebastian, Amelia, and Loki became a tale of resilience, love, and the unbreakable bond between a boy and his dog, a story that inspired everyone who heard it.